The Team Never Quit podcast is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal has great rates on auto loans. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Team Never Quit podcast. Today we have a great guest in store. Shaye Haver is one of the first two women to ever graduate from the U.S. Army Ranger School, which occurred on the 21st of August in 2015. So we're coming right around the anniversary.
Right?
Yeah,
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, Haver was ranked 34th on the Fortune magazine's 2016 list of world's greatest leaders. In 2018, Captain Haver was inducted. Hold on, let me say that one more time.
Wait, you already got that done before. I already feel like an underachiever. Go ahead.
In 2018, Captain Haver was inducted into the U.S. Army Women's Foundation Hall of Fame. Welcome to the show, Shaye.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for doing that. This is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to this. Even when the news came out that y'all were going through, did y'all want to break that, or were y'all trying to keep that under wraps?
To be honest, I think it would have been amazing to keep it under wraps.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. I was just wondering.
Yeah. We had no idea, to be honest. Once we got into school, well, because there wasn't the madness beforehand. So once we got into school, you don't have access to any social media or news outlet or anything like that. We would just know randomly, and then occasionally they would come and brief our class and just be like, hey, there's going to be some civilians out there. Don't talk to them. Don't look, don't pay attention to them. Other than that, we had no idea what they were doing or that they were filming us live.
So y'all were cut up, right?
The shocker came when we actually, we graduated. People knew, we had no idea people would even know or knew that we were graduated or we were graduating before we did. That was the madness.
That's crazy.
You want to start with
absolutely? I'll say we got a Patreon question
sorry, man,
of the day.
I got another question after that.
Yeah. You're good. I know. I'm interested in this story as well because there's got to be some hardships on the way that I'd like to get into. But today's Patreon question of the day is: what is the weirdest way you've ever injured yourself? And I'm gonna start that off with, this was so weird. One time I was about 11 or 12, and it was November, so I wasn't supposed to be swimming. But I jumped in a pool, full nice school pants on. Or no, not a pool, a pond. And there was a catfish in there that swam up my pant leg, and his barb on his fin went into my knee. So I had to walk all the way back to the house soaking wet, and then got in trouble for messing up the pants and then swimming. And then my dad started spraying it with the water hose, and it just flipped around every which way. It hurt so bad, but it came right out of my knee once he hit it with the water.
Ow.
It was the weirdest injury I've ever had.
You have long pants on?
I did. It was
and a catfish swim up your pants.
It went up the pants. I went down in
I'll
the
never tell
mud.
that story again.
All right.
I know mine. I was about Addie's age, and my grandparents had a little farm, and they told me not to go in this one area where there were these calves pinned up. And I really wanted to just go and pet the calf. I mean, it was a baby. It looked so cute. And I kept gravitating towards that area. And they were like, don't go in there. You'll get hurt. And I'm like, nah. So as soon as they weren't looking, I crawl under the fence and go in there. And I'm walking up behind it to pet it on its butt. And that sucker donkey kicked me in the stomach, sent me flying back. I lost my breath. I think I blacked out for a second. I was in so much pain, but I couldn't say anything because I didn't want to tell my grandparents that, I actually went in there. And so I just cried in fetal position until I could just get up and dust myself off. Never told them that I did it. Yeah.
Wow.
That was my weirdest injury, I think.
Yeah.
All right, what about you?
All right. Weirdest injury. I thought immediately when he said this, I was like, oh man, I have to tell this story. Dang it. So I was 5, doing a puzzle on the ground with by myself, and perfectionistic, me, had like the edges and the outline already done. I was putting together some pieces, and my sister, who's 2 years younger than me, decided she wanted to help. But in a way, we were already talking about dysfunctional family members earlier, in a way that she knew would really get under my skin. She decided she was going to put it in a place, a puzzle piece in a place that it didn't go, and try to force it in there. In my 5-year-old rage, of ruining this perfect puzzle I was putting together, I tried to just not like nail her, hit her as hard as I possibly could. And she jumped out of the way at the same time. And I punched the ground so hard at 5 years old, I gave myself a boxer's fracture.
Oh
Really?
my
Wow.
gosh.
That's pretty good because the bones really aren't, nice work.
Puzzle was that serious. It was that serious to me.
So stay away
That
from
is so funny.
Hey, that's a big deal when someone snatches a puzzle piece because that happened to
I
us
am a
all the
puzzler.
time. Well, especially during quarantine, we got locked down. That was we had a puzzle thief.
Yeah, we had a
Puzzle piece
puzzle
thief.
piece thief.
Puzzle piece thief, right?
What do we call it? The bandit.
The bandit.
Puzzle piece bandit. They would steal
One.
one piece.
This is a real thing. It almost.
happens.
I mean, I almost
Hilarious.
hunted them down as a homicide, dude. 'cause
Right, yeah.
At first, we just thought that maybe the dog got one of them or something
Yeah.
like that, but it truly was.
It would make me so angry.
we never caught 'em.
because we would.
We never caught him.
I have an idea of.
Oh,
who
you
it
can't throw
could've
that
been.
out loud, man, because I
Yeah.
accuse everybody.
Yeah, but
Y'all are all
someone
guilty.
would take one piece out of every. And we did a puzzle like every 3 days, like 1,000-piece puzzle every couple days, and someone would take
remember that.
one freaking piece.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Enraging.
yeah, I would rage. Yeah, I love.
Oh, it is,
puzzles.
especially if you get into them. Because I didn't.
doesn't get into it.
unless it's the holidays. Like when they spread them out on the table and there's nothing else to do out there besides watch football. And I will. I usually creep up at the end.
Yeah, I helped y'all.
Yeah. Now wait a minute. I turn the pieces over for you every time.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
He flips the pieces for me.
I think that's the notable. That's thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. I think that's a notable profession.
I can't believe you actually had a fracture at 5 years old from hitting your own force. That's pretty
Good
crazy.
stuff.
What's the weirdest injury you've had?
What no, was that weirdest injury or weirdest way I got hurt?
Weirdest injury just weirdest way you've
I
ever
think
been
it could
hurt.
be either.
I think
I
for
think-
you, it's probably throwing your back out by getting ice out of the ice machine.
That's a good one. But so there was a time. This is before I was married. I don't remember. It was late. There wasn't a moon out. It was pitch black, no stars. And I'd fallen asleep at my mom's house, and I was going to walk outside. I got something to eat. I woke up to get something to eat, and I turned the lights on. Well, after I was done eating, I turned the lights on. I was walking out the door to go to my house. So I started walking down the deal, and I couldn't see anything. I mean, it was from that bright light at my mom's house to that straight darkness, and I ran into something, and it hit me in the chest. I mean, I wasn't moving with a purpose, but I was walking out pretty good, and it hit me in the chest and knocked me backwards. And I was in a back brace, and I was from one of my surgeries and everything like that. And all of a sudden, I hear something hit the wall or hit the ground and make this sound and get up and haul ass running. And I didn't. So I get up, man, and I go in and try and grab my rifle, come out, because it took off. Come to find out, we had this old mare, this old horse. I mean, real old. And she would fall asleep and fall over and lean against the house to sleep.
Oh,
And I didn't see her. So I ran into her and she was asleep and I woke her up and she kind of kicked back. Because I think sometimes she'd have a heart attack and die. And when she hit the ground and start her heart again, she was great. She wasn't real big. So when she hit me, it wasn't that bad. But, And anyways, I re-injured my back. Dude, I don't think I've ever told that story. Y'all don't tell anybody, right?
All right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember you telling me that story. That was right before we
That's
met.
one of my brother's favorite stories of me getting hurt.
Okay, good Patreon question.
So I guess we need to take it back. We need to figure out.
Yeah, I
where
want to
you
hear
came
all the
from.
way back
Yeah.
to the beginning.
How
Like, your mom, like mom and dad, you got a family history of service, or is this one of the
Yeah.
deals where you just
Her dad.
Yeah, I grew up as an Army brat, which definitely put me into an environment where I could, from both sides, see my dad contributing and serving, but also what family members, do to serve and also sacrifice from that end. So I'd been around it, born into it, my whole life, and then I decided I chose to go to the United States Military Academy, West Point, and join the Army myself at 17 years old. So that's kind of how it got started.
All right, so are you an enlisted brat or an officer brat?
My dad was a warrant officer, so I'm kind of
Oh,
an.
a third. That's a third
option.
option. Yeah, I didn't
I'm
even
a
think about
weenie.
that one, man. That's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
y'all. Man,
Yeah.
y'all get
So my dad
overlooked sometimes.
he reminds me often that I'm the RLO, the real life officer, and then he gets to be the subject matter expert.
Oh yeah, That's right.
I
Yeah,
love
man,
my
they're
warrant
fun. They're
officers.
funny about that. Yeah, absolutely. When they show up, it's a different kind of respect.
Yeah.
They don't get
absolutely.
nobody talks about them. I mean, you don't
That's
hear a
right.
lot about them, man. They're just, and there's a reason for that. But they're great.
So to us
for sure.
non-military people, what is the difference between a warrant officer and?
Go ahead. You want to explain it?
Sure. Yeah. So usually warrant officers are prior enlisted and have some prior enlisted service, and they go through a different route. Officers get commissioned through going through college or OCS, which is specific to doing certain jobs in the Army. And then warrant officers do warrant officer candidate school as their intermediate education, essentially. And then they go off and they are technical and tactical experts in the field, and they're generally in charge of operations and tactics in a different role than leadership. Mostly, not that they're not in leadership roles; they absolutely can be, but they are expected to be the tactical and technical experts.
Are you reading that from somewhere? That's pretty
No,
good. That's actually really good. That's absolutely right. That's really good. Yeah, it's kind of one of those deals because between the officers and the enlisted. When the enlisted guy is, say, a comm guy or somebody who in the motor pool or the armory who deals with weapons, like if something goes wrong, a lot of times with the officers, they'll just say, "Roger that." They won't ask questions or they don't understand. The best is with comms. Like if you can't make radio, if you can't make a signal somewhere and get comms or something, there's usually a reason for it. But if you don't know what it is, you can make something up. And a lot of the officers will be like, "All right, Roger that." But the warrant officers are prior enlisted, right? So they have all the experience, and then they cross over, and then they get the respect that you give an officer. So it's and then we have Mustangs. Now those are different too.
So
I mean,
is
there's
Morgan a warrant officer?
No, well, that's what I was getting into. He's not. There's different ones. We have what's called Mustangs, and those are enlisted that go into straight officer, which are line officers. They're called line. Like she's a line. You're a line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of. Man, it's really complicated if you think about it.
Marcus's twin brother.
I forgot about all this. I was like, man, I talked about it forever.
Marcus's twin brother Morgan went in
He was
SEAL teams, enlisted.
He's Mustang.
And then he went to OCS.
Yeah, same rank as you. And that's how I know a lot of this. We had so much fun. So there's the warrant officers go through a different school, the line officers go through a different school, and then there's OCS, which is like a fork and knife. And then there's y'all. There's the West Point graduates, and then you have the academy people, the academy grads, the academy officers. They're completely different.
Oh yeah, they're special.
Completely different. Oh yeah, man. When they walk in, you freaking know it. They'll have that ring on that you can see that looks like a light tower from forever. And I mean, when they get around each other, that Army Navy game, that's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I've never been.
We're going.
You gotta go.
I wanted to. I haven't. Yeah, I wanted to.
We get invited every year, and it's always like. It's close to Christmas or something. There's
Yep.
something always going on that we can't make it.
I think the one time we were going to go was when quarantine hit. Yeah.
You
gotta make that, right? It's a big deal. So I've been to one game out at West Point, and I had never been out to the academy ever. And you hear stories about it, and I'd watch the TV shows about it, and you hear those gray wall, you see those gray walls kind of deal. But when you get in there, it's completely different. It was the coolest place, and it is so unique for the overlooking the Hudson, how beautiful it is when those trees change. I mean, it's a hidden little cool. It's pretty cool place.
You were at West Point when I told you I was pregnant.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That is good luck. How about that? I forgot. I didn't forget about that.
I sent him a picture of my pregnancy test while
right.
he was at West Point doing a book signing or something.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
I was with the Army when I found out I was having a kid. How about, hopefully he can go to West, maybe I can get him into West Point because of that. I was like, hey, look.
There you go.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right.
Hey, remember this conversation we had one day when you're running a show up there, all right? I was like, hey, my kid, he's like, he needs to go to school. I know I don't know if you remember this a while back. We talked about this, and
it's good. He's got roots. He's got roots.
That's right. That's right. All right, cool. So how many siblings do you have?
I have two. I'm the oldest. My sister is 2 years younger than me, and then I have a brother who's 8 years younger than me, just commissioned into the Air Force.
Nice.
What's your middle sister? What's she do?
She is a healthy lifestyles coach. She lives out in Las Vegas with her husband, who's an airline pilot, and
Still in the service industry, though. Yeah, still.
They're a badass family. Like seriously, they race mountain bikes and rock climb and.
One of them. So she still has that genetic makeup, but she just didn't go in.
That's right. Yeah. She's a free spirit. Hence
Right.
trying to drive me nuts when we were growing up and not following the rules. So I was probably more prone to following the military and doing the hard stuff in that way. And she finds her own way to do it the hard way.
That's what the middle one's for, right?
That's right. I think so. Yeah. I think it's.
I always heard that. I never. Yeah, but I always heard that too. And your younger stays Air Force.
Right. Yep. He just commissioned out of Arizona State University. So I always thought that was like, America's premier party school.
Oh, it is. That's a little hidden. I mean, they got great accommodations out there for that description.
Yeah. Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
I went to the premier leadership school. Sorry, Navy people, but and then my brother went to the premier party school and ended up going to the Air Force. So it seems like he probably picked the best path.
Good for him. Yeah, he's the baby. Hey, being the younger one, he did. I've been out there a few times. I imagine he had a blast. Oh, I know he did. I don't even imagine anything.
Absolutely.
We know that. All right. So how old were you when you decided that you wanted to, or when you kind of figured out you wanted to go in the military, and what made that happen?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So when I was about like 7 or 8, doing sports at like MDW, on post, like they're always co-ed sports. So I had to make a choice at 7 or 8 years old. My dad was like, all right, you can't do everything. You got to pick one. I was doing gymnastics and soccer at the time. And I chose to do soccer because I wanted to stay in like the co-ed environment. And I felt like all my friends, the guys and the girls, the guys, made me tougher and made me stronger and faster. And so I wanted to do that. So with that in mind, and just kind of growing up in a team sport environment, and then also kind of always being kind of the smaller and getting, made to be tougher by the people around me. I took that with me as I kind of grew up and into right before high school timeframe, where I remember pretty distinctly asking my mom once if women were like, if it was a career, if women had careers like in the Army or in the military in general. And because I had never really seen or heard about them. My dad, I don't think that I ever saw like from my dad's units any other women. I'm sure that they were, but obviously they're fewer and far between. But I really liked the idea. I loved being around the military, the service aspect of it, the community aspect of it. And so I think I was curious. And I knew that I wanted to continue to do like hard things and grow and to be challenged. So it was about that time. I guess I had to have been like 12 or 13 when I started like asking those questions, right before I went into high school. And then in high school, I went to public school for the first time right outside of Fort Hood, Texas.
The Hood. Right.
Yeah. Coppers Cove High School was my introduction to Army ROTC. So I played sports. I continued to play soccer my whole, life leading up to college. And I was like, hey, I want to try some other things. I need to get involved with kind of the community. How am I going to fit in at a new school? And I kind of got diverted and routed and going, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I can do that. And that looks interesting. So
how many high schools did you go to?
What was that?
How many high schools did you wind up going to?
I am lucky. I got to go to Coppers Cove High School all 4 years.
Oh, cool.
We were stable there.
When you talk about that, especially when you move around, and did your parents push the whole military? Because that's a thing. Like in some families,
no, absolutely. I would say that my dad was like borderline morally opposed to me going into the Army.
Right. Yeah. All right. That's what I thought. That's kind of like I figured.
Because he's like, listen, he's like, it's not why do you want to do hardest stuff? Like, why do you want to do hard things? Why don't you just want to live an easy life? Like, or pick something, be better than me. That was always his thing. He's like, be better than me, go do something better than me. And so
yeah, but he's a great man.
Enough. What was that?
He's a great man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about? So it's like I think about that too, because when we're like, hey, go be better. But in a life when the reward comes with how hard things are, you can't. You can't understand it, and it's hard to tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that you wanted to. I could imagine. I have a daughter now.
Yeah.
I do. So I mean, I could see him. That's why I was wondering. I was like, hey, how does that work? Do I need to push the military away, and then she'll what? They gravitate towards? I'm asking for some advice.
Yeah. So this is the unfortunate consequences of my dad being very specifically telling me not to do things.
Oh, great. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
I was the kid to do the opposite. So if dad was like, don't go in the army, go in the army. He actually told me, don't go aviation. I went aviation.
Yeah.
Again, advice, don't go into the infantry. I went into the infantry. So I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you just tell them the opposite.
Yeah, the reverse psychology thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. She's really smart too. She might play me. I think, I don't know.
She's very feisty.
Feisty, yeah.
I feel like she's going to try to do whatever she can.
Yeah, so people like that, I guess people like us, we got to learn we learn from doing it ourselves.
Yeah, the hard way. When people say that, it's actually it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like, man, there's multiple ways to do this, and the hard one teaches you something just like everything else. It's for hard people.
Okay, so you're in ROTC outside of Fort Hood, which is dangerous as hell.
It's the Hood, man. That's a big, huge army base.
Fort Hood is
they call it the Great Place. Yeah.
Great place. Yeah.
So what was that like? Because I'm sure that must have been a big ROTC program.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest, I think what came out of that was I got to see a lot of people in my community who came from low income, not privileged backgrounds, be part of this program and what the program was doing to give them a hope and a future, give them skills and talent. And then honestly, a lot of times they would inspire these kids to go off and make a better life for themselves by joining the Army. And that was really inspirational to me. I didn't have that background. I obviously grew up in the military, and so we had stability, and we didn't have to worry about some of the community issues that surround the post.
That's a thing for sure.
Right, and so it opened my eyes to what the military can do for people who don't necessarily have opportunity or based off of their background, their culture, wherever they come from. It's a place where you can go and get your feet underneath of you. And I was interested in that. I saw it as not as a charity, but as an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
so
the best way to say
ROTC
that.
was the beginning of me understanding that the military was like about opportunity and like you can make it whatever you want it to be.
All right, guys, let's take a second to thank our sponsors over at Navy Federal Credit Union. Becoming a member at Navy Federal Credit Union lets you experience more, from everyday commutes to your next big vacation. The flagship credit card earns you 3 times the points on travel, so you can get rewarded for wherever you're headed next. Plus, their premium travel card has a low annual fee of $49 and twice the points on all purchases outside of travel, meaning the rewards don't have to end even when the vacation does. Speaking of rewards, you can get a Navy Federal auto loan and reward yourself with a brand new car. Applying is easy. You can do it on their mobile app, online, or by phone, and it is so fast you can get a decision in seconds. Navy Federal has great rates on auto loans. Plus, with their car buying service powered by TrueCar, you can shop, compare, and get upfront pricing on your next new or used car. At Navy Federal, our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, open to the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their families. Flagship rates are variable and range between 10.74% and 18.0% APR based on creditworthiness.
So did you realize in high school that you actually wanted to like set records, or were you just like, I'm just gonna kind of go with the motions?
Good question. So I think again, probably pulling out more of my personality than I like. There's shadow sides to everything, right?
Course,
like,
yeah,
so
everything,
being completely disciplined and like very responsible, which is me. I'm like lends to getting shit done and accomplished, but there's some shadow sides to it, right? It's not necessarily like the best recipe for playing nice with others, or like you probably expect people who are like, oh, that girl's kind of bossy or whatever, but I know what I want and I'm driven, right? But that started when I was a kid and lasted through those things. So in high school, I was driven by this principle, like for myself, it's like, I learned at home from a book. It's a silly like kind of poem or whatever.
No, let's hear it. That's the good stuff.
But it says it's good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. So I drove myself always by like, I need to be better. Like, what can I do to be better? And when I was younger, I wanted that to mean perfect. The older I get, I realize obviously no one is perfect and nobody can.
Oh
be
yeah,
perfect.
you know who regulates that? Life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life regulates that. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with having that mentality. It's perfect. That's perfect to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Life knows it when you walk in with that. They're like, oh, this is that one person. This is that one piece, that one player.
Yeah,
that's right. You show up ready to work. And what it did was it gave me a tenacity. It gave me a drive. And honestly, it gave me this other thing that I mean, I don't know if I have the right word for it right now, but like, I absolutely don't take no for an answer, especially for myself. Like, I'm not going to close a door to myself. I'm going to go and I'm going to try that thing. And if the door is closed because of something like I legitimately can't attain, or I didn't meet the standard, or whatever it is, totally different. But I'm not going to be the reason why I don't go try or something.
Oh, sure. Well, there's a difference between getting the no when we're in and being shut out, just like you're saying. A lot of times there's situations in the environment that you want to be in that no is not the option because that wasn't the option you needed to go in.
Yeah.
Like there's multiple. And that no for an answer, like, all right, well, go back and rethink this. I always say, like, if you're whipping someone's ass, you're teaching them a lesson. If you're getting your ass whipped, they're teaching you one. And that's how it works in our family and with our communities, man. It's just, and it's the coolest part about it is you can get into some of them and the life is so great. I mean, from sun up to sundown, what you do and when you go to work, the food you eat, the community that you live in, where you live, like people do not want to leave that. They don't even talk about it. Matter of fact, they don't let you talk about it while you're there because it's some of the coolest places that you can imagine. I didn't know any of that. We don't ever talk about, like, our commercials that we got recruited on and the TV shows, they talk about a lot of the stuff, the overview, man, but there's a lot of that, especially with the academies, when you start like that, like she did.
So speaking of, when you were in high school, did you know that your next step was West Point, or did you know that that's what you wanted to strive for, or did you consider going to other state colleges or other private universities?
Yeah, I was a soccer player. I wanted my life to be that, and I got injured my junior year of high school. I had double knee surgery. And it was devastating to me because I was being recruited to go play at Texas A&M, and that was like my dream. My dog, my 14-year-old baby dog's name is Aggie.
Really?
So I'll always be an Aggie at heart. And that's what I wanted to go do. But my injury showed me that there is that soccer might not be the thing that I will get to keep for the rest of my life. And then what else is there? And so I had to kind of pay attention to the other things that I was good at and that I cared about. And because I was in JRTC and I took that seriously, I gave myself a window into another world, and the leadership responsibilities that I had going through that, and then the physical challenges that came from that, the relationship and community building that came from that, all made me kind of interested in joining the military for myself. So I applied to both the Air Force Academy and to West Point. The Air Force Academy was smart, and they offered me the 5-year option of going to the prep school beforehand. And I was like, who in the hell wants to go to school for 5 years? Right. So I was a direct admin into West Point.
Did you go out there to see that campus?
I eventually got stationed in Colorado. No,
but did you go see the campus beforehand? Because I didn't know that it was where it was at.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you hear academies and when you hear that word, eventually it's like the second step from prison, is what most people think. When I was in high school, that's what I thought. I'm like, it's like being in the military for like, it's in those walls and the gray and all that stuff like that. But let me tell you something. The Air Force has it right. And I tell every person I run into, they're like, hey, I want to be a SEAL or I want to be a Ranger. I'm like, join the Air Force. And they think I'm joking about that. And I'm freaking not. I mean, they take care of their people. It's the funniest thing. Like when Rangers and SEALs walk in somewhere, man, and there's an Air Force base, you can't believe the difference. It's like coming back home. It's like going to the mall or something out in the middle of the desert. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. I thought it was a mirage the first time I saw one of them.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So maybe even though what you're talking about is like, so I did end up going and visiting West Point. So I had accepted to go to West Point on the 4-year option instead of the 5-year option. And I went and visited the academy. I'd never been up to New York before, and I'd never been to West Point before I went to school. And walking onto that campus, it's really actually driving on with my mom. I just had like an overwhelming sense of like calm. And I was so blown away by the history, and you've already mentioned the views and everything else. It's like, wow, this is a really special place.
It is.
And I have to go here. Like I'm supposed to be here.
It feels
so
like
that was a good, like, probably for the first time in my life, because I'm a crazy planner and I'm always, trying to figure out like the next move. That was probably the first time in my life that I felt like, no, this is the answer. Like I need to do this. So that was important.
That's a good way to say that, though, because there is a secure feeling when you pull up there. Yeah. I felt that too. Like, man, I feel safe around here. First year, did you ever stay in restriction? What's it called? What do y'all do when y'all get out in the quad and have to march in your uniform? Did you ever have that happen to you?
Walking hours.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know you did that if you were a Ranger and an Apache pilot.
And some people call it tours.
Tours, right?
Walking,
yeah, tour duty. Yeah.
Walking the yard, and yes, I have walked hours.
That's awesome.
What do you have to do that for?
Infractions.
Doing something other than the rules, right?
Yeah,
That's the best way to say
rules.
that.
It's basically like, hey, if you're gonna not take our rules seriously, we're gonna waste your time. So you walk back, and it's literally hours walking back and forth,
like in a courtyard in your uniform, right? With your rifle.
With your rifle and a really uncomfortable uniform in the middle of the area. So
the dress. You guys have to dress up for that with your hat, correct?
Yeah.
Sometimes during the holidays, don't they make y'all march during the holidays? Or if you really hook it up, like in the Naval Academy, they get the anchor man, they get the black anchor if they screw up real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Air Force Academy. They keep that stuff top secret, but
that's right.
You know what I'm talking about? But my buddies from the especially the SEALs, they tell they were, you knew those were the guys that were messing up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They all wind up in the same spot.
Yeah.
And I think they know, the head shed knows that when we're coming through. They're like, all right, we know what's happening with these girls and guys, man. They belong over here. That's cool. All right. So did you go in wanting to be a rotary wing or a fixed wing? Or did you just want to go to college there and then find out while you're in there?
So I definitely went, so I definitely did not go because of my, intellectual prowess. I went on my leadership and physical fitness abilities. Not that I didn't meet the requirements educationally, but
they teach that there.
That was not my strong suit. But I went like really gung ho. I was like, man, I wanted to be in some sort of like service industry. So I thought I was going to go and try to do the medical thing. And go to medical school. I got there and met my classmates, and I was like, oh yeah, there's actually geniuses that got into it.
You can't believe, hey man, they're amazing nerds that go there. I mean, we have every type that show up there.
That's right. And we need them.
Yeah,
and
we need them. We need them.
They showed up, but they gave me a reality check. That is not me.
Yeah.
So.
That's not my lane either, right? I get that. No, we have them. I mean, when you walk into their room, they're like, obviously I was the jock. I have to be outside with the SEALs and everybody else. You guys do. And they're badasses in their field. They really are.
Exactly. So I call those were the 10-pound brain.
Yeah.
They're doing this stuff over here. And I was
That's
like,
right.
I have some different skills. I'm just I'll be outside.
10-pound brain. Is that what y'all call it? It's 8 pounds in the Navy. We're lighter. 8 pounds. That's hilarious. All right.
So,
go ahead.
I went thinking that I was going to go into the medical field. And then I kind of not had an identity crisis, but really like the whole time trying to figure out what it was going to be that I was going to do.
Yeah, so you can do that. That's what people don't understand. Is like when you go into the academy, then you can pick what you want. Like if you want to be a doctor, man, and you're having trouble with and you don't have a plan, but it's all there. Mm-hmm. That's the cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was like that.
Well, it's there to mold you.
Yeah, correct.
It's there to
when you're like, hey man, none of us had that leadership, or
is.
we were athletes, and whatever reason we could get in there. All you have to do is have that part. I think they look for that too. Like, all right, there he's outside, she's outside, she's doing this. Get him in there, and we can teach the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have whatever formula they have. They've been doing it long enough that they get and just true. Like anything, like there's good ones and there's not so great ones, and like because it's a human organization, right? Like that is what it is. So, but I took really seriously the fact that when I was coming out of there, like yes, the education I was so grateful for, and the ability to do all the different sports and different things, which hopefully I'll get a second to talk about that in a minute, but I knew that when I graduated, I was going to be an Army officer. So no matter what I studied or sport I played, my job, my profession was going to be immediate. And I was going to be required to be in charge of people. And so I took that really seriously. And so my focus, my 4 years that were there, is like anything that I needed to do to make myself good, better, best, right? Like I needed to be the best Army officer. And I owned that. And I internalized that.
They teach that hard. One of my good buddies is a West Point graduate. He will text me randomly. He's like, hey, I'm 4,972 miles from the Go Army Beat Navy bleachers. I mean, just randomly.
Yeah.
When you get in there, wherever you come, and I've heard people when they show up to the academies, they're like, "Man, I didn't know what in it." And one of my buddies in one of my last platoons was a soccer player at the academy. Yeah. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, man, did you go to the academy to be a SEAL?"
That
officer?
guy was he is such an overachiever.
Yeah,
the guy he's talking about went to West Point, was a Ranger, then went into the SEAL teams, and now he's in the FBI. So I'm like, can you mark?
I don't
off
really like hanging out with him
else?
because he's one of those, you know how we have them, right? We have guys this one I ran,
No, he's awesome. We love him.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And
they're
love
great
his
guys.
Like he's
breath always smells good. He's got like this perfect smile.
He's such a great
Clothes
guy.
are always creased. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, what a
But
loser.
he is such an overachiever.
Oh, man, like whatever his parents did or grandparents did, whatever God like put on when one of them show up, you know, it's like we have them.
Yeah.
It's funny but they exist, dude. It's crazy.
That's funny. Sorry, he got off on a tangent. Okay, so we're talking about you at West Point.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened at West Point was, another critical decision. So my first, in my childhood, deciding I wanted to play soccer instead of doing gymnastics, and that being, a catalyst for doing things, co-ed sport and pushing myself to be better, was my decision to not play soccer at West Point, which was kind of a big deal. I ended up not pursuing it because of the environment there. It wasn't, I don't think, conducive for the long-term goals that I had, just the team dynamic and everything else. And so, but it gave me, and at the time, I was like, that was a really difficult decision. And it was honestly like super emotional because it was like my whole life.
Oh yeah, sure.
Done. And but what it did do was open up opportunities to do other things. I was scrawny when I got to West Point. I was 95, maybe 105 pounds, super skinny. I like struggled to max out the run, and I couldn't. I had to really work on doing meeting the sit up requirement because I was just so little. I didn't have core strength or whatever. I was just fast. I was a fast soccer player. That's and I had that endurance. So anyway, so I was like, okay, I need to do some things to be bigger, better, faster, stronger. And so I had a team leader who his roommate was on our triathlon club team, and he's just like, hey, you're going with my roommate to practice today because you have to pick a sport. And I had not I had never really swam competitively or anything like that. Swam a little bit as a kid growing up, but I was like, what? That sounds ridiculous. And I don't have a bike here. I'm like, none of this makes sense. But I ended up falling in love with the endurance sport and becoming, a triathlon enthusiast and still do that today. But so that opened a door, though, for endurance training that really shaped my capabilities and ability to do other things down the road. And then I also took on a couple other club sports along my 4 years.
So you're on the triathlete, the team at West Point?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
our
cool.
triathlon team there,
That's awesome.
our rock climbing team. And then we had a strength and conditioning club that was really phenomenal for me to then get that strong base and of strength and lifting and conditioning that I kind of started in soccer because we did some of that training, but not to the extent that I need to grow. So I grew, I got bigger, I got faster, I got stronger, and I was doing all these developmental things that I needed to physically to go into the roles that I was going to do, but I didn't do them intentionally. I didn't put them all together in a way that I knew that was going to work out some cocktail. Sure. It just worked.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's like that timeline, that progression. It's one phase after the other. You can't see the ones down the road. You don't even have, some of them you don't even know what they exist.
Yeah.
You have to go through these other ones just to get there.
Yeah. That's right.
For sure. What got you on the Apache thing?
The Apache. So my dad flew Apaches. I loved, when I was trying to make the decision of branches, we have to rack and stack all of them. So, it's behoove you to put at the top what you want and the bottom what you really, really, really don't want, because at school it's a numbers game and it's based off your OML, your grades that come from your physical fitness grades, your leadership grades, but then obviously your academic grades. So I really shot my shot by putting, aviation at the top, and that's what I wanted. And then I don't remember exactly the order of things below, but it was like MPs maybe, and military intelligence thrown up in there. But my thought process was not necessarily that I wanted to go into the infantry, but when you're at West Point, like everything is about like the soldier, because everyone's a soldier first and everyone's an infantryman first, and so everybody knows and does like those skills, and I was good at them and I liked them, and so I wanted to do something that continued to perpetuate that skill. But I was like, probably the closest thing would be MPs, but I was like, who wants to be a cop, right? So I was like, I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Dude, those guys have a blast on base. You can't even imagine, man.
Right. So then I'm like, okay, aviation. And then my dad, like I've already mentioned this, dad was like, if you're going to do aviation, then don't go the attack route. And I really had to think about it. And I did. And I thought about this. I was like, okay, both options are good. Because being in an aviation unit, aviators are cool. First of all, they do things.
First of all, you're an aviator. You're not allowed to say that.
No, I'm not an aviator anymore. I'm an infantryman.
Whatever. Now, if you got both those claws, you can't shot. That's cool because they are cool. They are cool. They are cool.
They are cool too. Yeah. And I'm coming from this position too. Like when I was making up my mind, like when I was thinking about like what my dad did, because you have to think about the time period. When I graduated, it was 2012. When I was making this decision, it was about 2010 and 11. And my dad had done I think maybe he hadn't done his 4th tour in Iraq yet. But the point being that growing up in that environment, and watching my dad come back every single time from a combat zone with less of the people that they went with and they came back with, and they were doing incredible things in support of the ground troops. Yeah. I was so blown away by the bravery, the courage, and like the tenacity of those people. And so why I say both are great options, but being either an assault transport, aviator or an attack aviator, the mission is one, you're not getting out of the helicopter to go.
Everyone knows that's the best job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
When y'all show up, God, go ahead. I'm
getting
sorry.
out of the aircraft to go fight back, but you're getting shot at, and you can't do anything about it. So the people, so that idea crossed my mind is like, well, if I'm going to be getting shot at, and I can't be the guy that's getting out of the aircraft to go shoot them back in the face and to prevent, them from continuing to kill my friends, then I want to at least be on the aggressing side, right? So I want to be the attacker instead of the assault. And so really at, I guess, 20 years old, my mentality was, still in that, like, okay, like I'm aggressive. I think that, that's the type of lifestyle that I would want to be a part of. So I chose the attack community over the assault community for that very, purpose. It's like, okay, I want to be able to not only defend myself and fight forward, but the people that are on the ground to continue to give them the maneuver space to actually do that.
What's the hardest part about what did anything get a hold of you when you were going through school? To learn how to fly?
What did they do to me?
Did anything get a hold of you? Yeah, the bag, anything? What was the hardest thing about going through the training for the Apache?
Oh, the hardest thing, honestly, I guess it would be flying at night, and then because there's 2 systems in an Apache. There's the IR systems, and then there's also like your like a green like nod stuff. So you're like, it's and you're seeing things in 2 different eyes. So it's very that was very challenging. Your brain is doing quite a number, like a gymnastics, trying to figure out what you're actually seeing and like what's reality.
The sexiest thing in the world is when y'all show up in overhead. Like we would radio y'all in, and I would go get eyes on. We were so close. I was like, hey, I want to know. I want you to see this face. When you hear my voice over that damn radio and I need some help, come on with it. And when y'all would come on and nothing lights up like those Hellfire, when those Apaches light up, There's nothing else that comes out of there that looks like a straight lightsaber. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because we would be down there with those Islids and those Biplies, man, just freaking radiating y'all in. And y'all would come. We had so much fun running. Oh, yeah.
His cousin that was an Apache pilot, the girl I was telling you about in the beginning, she was able to cover for Marcus and Morgan in Iraq.
Wow.
As their cousin.
Yeah, like my brother got to work with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
that
is cool,
just
man.
one of the neatest stories. Like
I was like, man, she was flying those Apaches that came in that day on the
in Red Wing.
But we worked with y'all all the time.
Yeah, but in Iraq they got to work together. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so you get it. So you get why it would be.
But we would always try to go steal those things from y'all all the time. Apache. I'm like, kid, this is stuff we don't ever talk about. But at night when we were sitting around boards, like, hey, you want to go try to steal an Apache?
They would have no idea what to do.
We would take everything on that base and drive it around. We never could fire those Apaches up, man. They probably would have got pissed. Anyways, go ahead.
That's awesome. I admire you a lot for taking that route and for just having that mindset of being brave enough to go into a zone like that. And usually the girl side is to just want to save people. But for you to actually want to go and help fight just shows your drive even more. So I think that's awesome.
Let's talk, if you don't mind, talk about, because when you get into one of those units flying an Apache, all the money that they put into us to do that, and then you cross over to the other side. Was that talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, what was that decision like to want to go Ranger after that?
Yeah, well, it was a tough decision to choose to go infantry for sure. For a lot of the reasons you can probably suspect, but also probably for some that you don't really think about as being like the comfortability. So I grew up around aviation. That's what, obviously that's what my dad did. And that's what I was doing for 4 years in the Army when I had the chance or the opportunity to go to Ranger School. But going to Ranger School ignited in me and reminded me of a different type of leadership and camaraderie that I hadn't felt as much since I had been at West Point in dealing with like the human dynamics of what leadership is. Aviation isn't void of leadership, but the focus is on the machine, keeping the aircraft running, the maintenance and the sustainment of the aircraft is the primary thing as it needs to be, not at the expense of people, but definitely it's not the mission.
Guys, did you know only 45% of high school students feel they are prepared for college or careers? Well, today's sponsor, Stride Career Prep, is helping change that. Stride Career Prep lets students take charge of their education and their future by combining real-world skills training and traditional academics. Students can earn college credit while in high school or get the training needed to land a job right after graduation. Stride Career Prep prepares your team for in-demand careers in business, tech, health science, criminal justice, and much more. Students can take courses developed by industry professionals, prepare for certifications, get hands-on experience, network, and most importantly, gain the confidence needed to succeed. Stride Career Prep is backed by over 20 years of experience in online learning. If you are a student or you know of a student that could use a little extra support, that way they can hit it hard when they hit the real world, then take charge today at k12.com/podcast. That is k12.com/podcast. k12.com/podcast.
So going to Ranger School reminded me that the mission at the end of the day really is about the people that are on the left and right of you. And when we go and do
that's what you learned there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we go and do things that are hard and stretch us beyond our limits and capabilities, that it is often hard to remember why you're there. And an environment where you are constantly with other humans, it's easier to remember because you have relationships with and you are tied to that. You're not there you're not there for anything other than, the people on the left and around of you. And it's not about you at all. So if I'm sucking today, like tough shit, like it doesn't matter. Like these people deserve for me.
Oh yeah. There's no stupid in there. There's no stupid things in there. When we're going through that, all that crap goes out the door. You don't think about nothing else. I mean, friggin' nothing. All right. So I want to know, how did this work out? When that came down, obviously timing, that's a universal thing, right? Certain time, certain place. But I mean, so you've seen G.I. Jane, where they're looking for the top female athletes in the Army. I mean, they're combing through here trying to find y'all, because this is a big deal. For those of y'all that don't know, and I'm a Navy, I'm a bastard to the Army, but I am a SEAL. You see that Ranger tab walking down the road, like they walk across that. Everyone notices that. Everyone sees that. So you got a guy who's triple tabbed up, man. You see that arm, like Army guys, they got a BDU resume. They wear everything. They got a patch for every damn thing you can't even imagine, man. It's unbelievable. It took me forever to learn all that, and I still haven't figured it out. But that's a big deal. Like that beret, when you see in the Army, you see them berets, that means something. I mean, and when I say means something, I mean carved in blood, and people have died for it. So they take that crap. I mean, it's not crap. They take that. Try not to cuss.
They take it seriously.
They take that serious. All right. When I'm serious, I use a lot of profanity. But I'm so the fact that you're rolling into that.
So, but how did that work?
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Like there's an opening, they're opening this up to females, because that had never been done before. So
so it was about 2012-ish, right when I was graduating from West Point, that General Ray Odierno, who was the chief of staff of the Army at the time, announced that they were going to be opening combat arms branches in the Army to women. They didn't know how they were going to do it. It was going to be a phased approach, whatever, but it was going to happen, period. So it's basically like it was a statement. So everybody needed to get ready and get themselves ready and get the right, and lo and behold, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, like those decisions were being made because there was already women out in the Iraqs and Afghanistans doing the things that people were worried, worried about women not being able to do.
Yeah, we already got, we've had them. They're badasses. The American people didn't know about it.
They're awesome. Yeah. And people just didn't know, but the people who needed to know to make the changes, like they got to see and experience that. And because crisis provides opportunity, right? So we were in it. We were in war. We were doing hard things. We required people, and it didn't matter whether it was a man or a woman to be going and doing those things. So again, you did mention timing, but that matters for so many reasons. Yeah. That was the timing, the environment that I came into. So about 2013 timeframe, they started putting out, actually it was around 2014 timeframe, they started putting out these all Army messages from HQDA, the headquarters of the Department of the Army, saying how they were going to do this. They started out with field artillery, and then kind of holding out was infantry and armor branches, because they were trying to get it right and figure it out. So I think, to be honest, and I don't know this, I don't have like an insight into this, but Ranger School opening up and allowing women to go through that was an opportunity for them to essentially do like a check or a trial. Like, can women meet the standard? And we're going to allow them to go through this. The first message that came out was pretty hilarious. It was like, we're going to allow women to go through this, but they're not, if they pass, they wouldn't be allowed to wear the tab because you wouldn't meet the qualifications of being it's still male exclusive, right? And all these things are we just want to, basically it was we just want to see if they can do it thing. And then the messages after that were like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of silly. So we're going to send some women ahead. We're going to go train them and stuff so that there's women present where the first group go through. And it was really convoluted. It was like they were making it way harder than they needed to. So once that kind of, okay, it's happening, here's a time frame now, April 2015 is when women are going to be permitted into the first class of integrated Ranger School.
Okay, so that was going to be my question. When you're talking about, what's the best way to ask this? So when they came up with the idea, they were like, hey, we're just going to put a group of women through the program, not with the men, just through the program. Is that how it came down the first time? And then next, like, hey,
that was how it was communicated. That's how it was communicated. Okay. And then
but they got rid of that. They squashed that.
Pretty much. Yes. Yeah. Because just as we're saying it now, it sounds ridiculous. Right. So I what I don't know is all the other behind the scenes stuff that happened, right? All the training, there were female service members that were present throughout the course that were observers. So I don't know what the observers had to do to train to be present while we were there. They weren't graders, they weren't lane walkers, and they hadn't gone through ranger school yet. So they had a different thing that they were doing, a different function, like maybe a safety precaution or measure. You know what I'm saying?
Who knows?
So, but awesome that they were there.
Who knows?
Basically then the Army was like, okay, we need you then to send actually it was hey, basically let your chain of command know if you're interested in doing this. And there was no reporting chain. There was no real structure to this.
So that came out Army wide. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
It came out Army wide. It was one of these email. It's one of these emails that you get that's literally a mass produced email to everyone's inbox. Like, hey, if you're a woman and you're interested in going to Ranger school, let somebody know. And you're like, well, who the heck do I tell? Yeah. And I remember seeing that. Honestly, and me, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Like, good luck to those girls. Like, that sounds pretty neat, because I was in my aviation world. I was actually getting ready to go do my first gunnery as an attack pilot with my unit. Like, I'm the platoon leader. We're going out, I'm doing my individual range training, and then we're doing, our group train. So I was focused on something else in my job. And so I didn't really pay, too much attention to it until because of the ALR Act, each division started to come up with their method for how they're going to recruit and find their most qualified women so that they could send them and figure out who was interested. I was at 4th ID at the time. So I was at Fort Carson, Colorado. And my division they put out their information. It was asking basically chains of command to send people's names in to start doing this assessment, essentially. And the assessment was basically rap week. So push-ups, sit-ups, the 5 mile run, and then this chin-ups, and then a ruck march and some land nav and whatever else. But basically they wanted to make an OML based off of that. So a bunch of women at posts all over the country show up to their division's version of this OML builder of like, find all the craziest, women out there who want to go do this thing. And then they had another vetting method that so then each post came up with their women on an OML list, and then they all had to go to the National Guard's training center that's actually at Fort Benning.
Oh, they sent y'all to one all at the same time?
They gave us 3 different classes because they expected that there would be a lot more women that went through. I don't know the total number, but it was somewhere in the hundreds that ended up going through the RTAC is what it's called, the Ranger Training Assessment Center. So the National Guard runs that at Fort Benning. And that was January, February, and March.
Fort Benning. God, it's a great place.
Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah. And I ended up making friends with girls that had gone through the January and the February class. And I was the only one.
I was going to ask, were you summer or winter?
January, February,
for Ranger
March.
School all through the summer.
Right?
But I will say I had the coldest experience of my life, which I'm glad at least I did, because I can hold on to this and be like, okay, you can do worse. But was during RTAC in the month of February, and February I was the only girl, I was the only woman that went through RTAC for that class, and how does
that work? You're just the only girl?
Well, I was the only one that passed in that class. So of the 3 months, January, February, and March, I don't know the numbers, but there are 100. But of those 3 months, only 19 women passed. Yeah. There were several in January. I was the only one in February, and then there were several in March who were people who had failed previously and went back. So across the Army, there were only 19 women total. That were going to be permitted to start in the first gender integrated Ranger School class in April of 2015. Wow. And those were the girls that I started Ranger School with.
That's awesome.
So what's that like showing up first day?
Yeah. What was first day like of actual Ranger
Girl, you're
School?
scared. I'm scared for you. Yeah. I mean, that's
first day Ranger School.
First day of Ranger School.
Here's a weird
sucks,
thing.
Man. Ranger School sucks.
Yeah.
They send our guys there for punishment. Like they send SEAL officers there to get punished. That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it out loud, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. Day one, it's kind of surreal because it's like the calm before the storm. No one's really like yelling at you or anything, but you know it's coming like very soon. You're bald. So there was that. The night before I had to shave my head.
Did you do that by yourself or did you that's because that's a thing. We have a party for that. Like we actually phase up party for it.
We did. Yeah, we did. We had myself and Kristen, actually, the girl that I ended up graduating with, went to the same barber because we were like, we don't know how, like, what do we do? Just go get it.
That's it.
Right outside the Fort Benning gate.
That's how you do it.
We got our head shaved. But this doesn't probably seem like that big of a deal. But the women were still only allowed to shave our head to only like 1/4 of an inch. So like guys could like big it. So they were like bald. Shaved down to the skin. But we could only shave it because they're like, for whatever reason, they were still worried. They were like, that's an extreme haircut. And I'm like, it's already extreme that I had hair and now I'm bald.
Yeah,
so
now
like,
it just looks weird.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't get the difference of being all the way bald or mostly bald, but regardless.
I don't do our laundry outside, man. I'll talk about, but there are some things that come down the pipe. We're like, man, well, how do you do, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, shave your damn head means shave it.
So what you wouldn't think is that in a sea of bald heads, 1/4 of an inch of hair stands out. Sore thumb.
Yeah, it sure does.
So even though we tried our hardest to go in blending in by doing, all the right things, you're still noticeable, just by that one thing.
Sure. So that's so somebody can spot you. I bet that's so the people watching.
I would think that would be something on purpose. That's on purpose. That the instructors or whoever said, like, just to make you feel that a 1/2 inch more uncomfortable, because
which
you're
is
with
brilliant.
All the guys.
Because that's how they do it. For those of y'all who are wondering how things get you, it's that kind of stuff. Like you'll be in some other situations and wouldn't even make a big deal, man. But when they're piling that stuff on you, and then it's like, oh, by the way, your hair's too short, but it's too long, kind of deal. And you're gonna offset it. Yeah, I mean,
well, and all the guys are looking at you like, why do you have an itty bitty amount of hair?
Yeah. Okay. This is your first day of Rangers School, and your haircut's not even right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're out of rigs.
And it started that the unfortunate piece is that already started off like why didn't you, from the guys who are our classmates, well, why didn't you have to shave your head all the way?
That's what I'm talking about. There's animosity right there. I mean, if you want to talk about.
Because I'm following the rules. Why am I different? I don't know. The point is not supposed to be have any, like, literally it's supposed to be the same.
Yeah, uniform.
So I had to do day one 3 times. So I'm going to put that out there to say there's a relentlessness to this. On my 3rd day one, I bicked it. I was done.
Yeah,
I was done following the rules and that way. And I was like, there's got to be one way. I'm tired of sticking out. They already know me. The instructors already know me, but my classmates and my peers need to know, like, I'm here. I'm showing up at 100%. I'm doing exactly what you're doing.
See, that's that G.I. Jane shit right there, man. See that? She's in that boiler room doing some sit-ups and push-ups. Come on. I'm going to go watch that tonight.
So how did that, what was your first day?
You need a sponsorship from that. What's that head blade thing that's right?
Oh my gosh.
Did Kristen do that too? Did Kristen do that with you?
Oh, shave our heads? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, we were there were 3 of us on that 3rd last day.
How are they doing, by the way? Are they all
They're great.
Oh, good.
They're great.
All right, go ahead.
So I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where you want me to go back to on my first days, but
well, that's the first days in anything are terrifying, especially programs like this. I mean, the guys are scared. Yeah. I remember going into Bud's first day. I was terrified. I don't mean scared. I was terrified.
Yeah.
First thing that rolled out on me was one of the instructors yoked out of his mind. I mean, this dude looked like something off of an IBF professional bodybuilding stage. He was running barefoot in a Speedo and had a Rottweiler that didn't have a leash. Well, ran right past me, dude. That was my first instructor experience, and I was scared anyways. And it was like, and then it just, because you don't know what to expect.
No. Yeah, so the difference between day one the first time and day one the 3rd time, significant, but still important because there's jitters or whatever for all the right reasons. And I think that my first, it's just I had to find my calm. I had to figure out like what was going to keep me focused.
How do you do that
on the task at hand? Yeah. I went in with a couple of like tactics and methods that I knew that I was going to use. And the one that I used on day one every time was visualizing success. I know that sounds like super simple, But I knew that the next morning, so day 2, essentially, the first real day that you're at Ranger School, is the Ranger assessment. And it's a known test. There's no surprise. You know exactly what it is that you're about to come. And somehow it is the most anxiety producing, stressful, and hardest physical fitness event that you can do in a day because of the environment that you end up going into. So the night before, I legitimately like would visualize and like and say and count to myself and like watching myself like essentially doing all of the phases like to perfection. So if it was 59 push-ups that I needed to do or 49 push-ups that I needed to do, I would literally with my eyes closed watch myself and count myself doing 49 perfect.
That's the best way to do it. That visualization, they make us do it 3 times.
Yep.
Like if you walk in there and haven't thought about it or anything like that.
Yep.
Same way with athletes. I mean, hey, run that play in your head 3 times, at least 3 times before you go in there to do it. That way everything's in sync, or at least you're on track. You get that mind and body going. Yeah, man, that's a real thing.
Yeah. So I used when I couldn't do something physical to train, I was training my mind constantly. And that was the entire time that I was there, from April of 2015 to August of 2015. Every day, every night before I would take on a mission, there was a thoughtfulness, a mindfulness that was a part of everything that I did. And it was exhausting. There's an exhausting aspect to physically like doing that, but also like mentally like exhausting. You're not eating, you're not sleeping. So you're already kind of at a deficit, but then to also stay focused and disciplined through that, like it's imperative. But like what I found, like that's what I needed. I had to do it that way in order to pass.
That's awesome.
I mean, the first time in there too. I mean, because we're all there to earn each other's respect. I mean, they put you in those ass-kicking situations, and you can't look cool doing it. The first time you go, and that's what people overlook. I mean, we do not look cool in the beginning at all, man. I mean, it's almost like they embarrass you in front of your entire class just to get that over with.
Yeah.
I mean, we get past all that stupid stuff like first few days. Yeah, I mean, you get over all the jitters and all that crap, then that's when you get to work. But, I mean, you got an added advantage. This is the first time in there. That in itself is a stressor. On top of that program, which kills people.
So going into the Ranger School, was there only the 3 females that went in and all 3 graduated?
No. So we started with 19.
Oh, you did start with 19.
At our first day 1.
Okay.
Second day 1, there were 8 of us. And then third day 1, there were 3 of us.
That's the best attrition rate I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Cut in half the first day.
Yeah.
Half.
And then all 3 of you made it.
Eventually.
Did y'all know each other?
Not
are they all
previously.
West Point?
We're pretty close now. Yep, all West Pointers. Kristen and I graduated together. And then Lisa Jaster, she ended up graduating several months behind us. She got the extra training. She got to do
added benefits. Sure, I was on that program. I got those. I was there. I've been there. Full benefits.
Yeah. So of the first group of us of 19, of those 19,
2,
3, eventually
or 3. Yeah, 3.
eventually
Excuse me. 3 minutes.
But you want to know something that's even more impressive? There are women from that 19 who have gone back since years later and have gotten their tabs. Those are my heroes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
those
nice.
are my Yeah. So we mentioned at the beginning that, the graduation for us at the, being the first was the 21st of August, 2015. We just had our 7-year anniversary apparently. And at that 7-year mark, there's now 113 women.
I was gonna say, how's that feel? Oh, you're the godmother.
That's awesome.
Y'all got, the 3 of y'all. Hey, what do they call y'all? I know they call y'all something, and you don't have to tell me. But the 3 of y'all, the 3 godmothers or whatever it is, I know that y'all have that. Matter of fact, you probably have your own color beret, don't you? You 3, the 3 of y'all. That's cool, man. There's how many? 100 now? Wait till that gets huge. I mean, the fact that you were the beginning of that.
Oh my gosh, Marcus is going to come up with some special.
Hey, I got you back on this. This is what I do. This is what I do, man.
Babe, let her
Have
talk.
you ever read the Stephen Pressfield's book, The Last of the Amazons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have to read Gates of Fire, and I have a lot of his books here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're
Great
awesome.
author. Yeah,
but
they're awesome.
So Last of the Amazons gets me fired up about, just inspiring women in general, that there is, warrior culture is a thing, like that we could probably, we could all get really excited about and talk about it, on a completely different podcast tangent. Like, so just the warrior culture in general. But the inspiration for women to have like this warrior-esque culture is really, it's not unique. But it's really interesting. But to your point, what you said is, what would they call us? I mean, at the end of the book, like when you figure out like why Mother Bones is called Mother Bones.
Oh yeah,
like, that's
sure. That Wonder Woman poster you got in the background says a lot too. I mean, that's all of that comes into place. I know with our community and the way it works, we use that stuff for inspiration, and we also use it to identify people in our community. You can say one word about, and that could be a call sign, a character from something, and you know exactly who they're talking about. Not only that, the reputation that comes with it. It survives in our community and has since the very beginning in the military, especially with the American military. The pass down. I mean, you're part of a line now, and we don't mess around with that. And a lot of people, every other community in this country says when they don't mess around, they mess around.
Yeah,
we're the only ones that don't. When we say that, we're serious about it. We'll take it all the way to the ground, to the grave, and that's proven. So that's why I get like that, man. That's good stuff. I dork out over it, but because I know. It. Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
All right.
Well, Marcus is gonna like think all night long about what your perfect.
I'll call you. I'm like, hey, or I'll text you. I was like, hey, I got a good one. And every time I run into some Rangers, I'm gonna start passing because I do all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start passing it around. I'm gonna just start talking about y'all with the nicknames, and I'll be here. Yeah, that's cool.
That's funny.
Yeah,
so, what after that? After y'all graduated, and there was like instant fame for y'all. I mean, I remember watching it on TV.
Yeah, I would hear everybody talking about it.
Yeah, when y'all graduated, what was that like?
Yeah. So I would probably interpret it as instant infamy instead of like being famous, because there's a lot of turmoil, I think, that came from it. That's probably not not what people want to talk about, but it's real. So, and people deal with it in all kinds of different ways. And in my probably, like me specifically, like I have not been on social media, and I do not have my own social media, and I have not, and I will not, for all of the reasons that just staying out of that. I don't need to be a part of that. I don't need to retort. I don't need to know what's being said.
Well, not while you're in. We're not allowed to do that anyways, I thought. It's when you get out. It's like, hey, that pass down from what we're doing now, that's to give back, and you'll understand that. But while you're in, people get upset. I talk to SEALs sometimes too. They're like, well, I got on social media and I read something, somebody said something bad about me. I'm like, you're kidding me, Ranger. Let me tell you something. People talk bad about us every day. People want to kill us every day. That's the job. I mean, there's no one says anything good about us. That's because of what we are. So, I mean, when guys and girls get, especially us, like the warrior class, because it's easy because you're supposed to assimilate. You got to be nice and articulate and be, hey. But especially with our communities, the last 20 years of war and the pandemics and everything they put us through, man, it's just different with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I would say that following Ranger School, it was just how do you keep your head down and keep working hard and keep doing the job without the scrutiny.
So are you back at with the Apache unit, or did you stay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you just go to Ranger School, get your qual.
I left Ranger School, went back to my unit at Fort Carson, and just kind of in timeline, it was time for me to go to the Captain's Career Course. So I ended up going to the Maneuvers Captain Career Course at Fort Benning, Georgia, and that's primarily for the combat arms, so like infantry and armor. But it's the leading center of excellence, and so a lot of other people go, so aviators and intelligence officers, and I was fortunate to be able to go, and I went there as an aviator, expecting fully that I would stay an aviator, and it was about 8 to 10 months long of a school, and it took all of that time for me to decide that I was going to end up transferring into the infantry.
All right, so who's the first person have you ever run into a tab protector yet? Who's the first person that called you out for wearing that didn't believe that you went through? Has it happened?
That doesn't believe. Okay, so it's really hard for people to not believe that I went through because my picture is everywhere.
Right.
Well, you'd be surprised. I'm saying, I mean,
or just some like jerk on the street.
Yes, but yes, I have encountered jerks. If you can imagine this, I have had my tab ripped off my shoulder 2 times.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
By another Ranger?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
What did
that's
you
intense
do?
fighting
and
right
if you
there.
can, and if you can imagine the amount of restraint and grace that it takes not to respond
Sure.
in the way of which you would probably respond if anyone touched you.
Yeah,
or
baseball
touched a
bat
tab
to the
that you
throat. I mean,
control.
come on now. You got some things protect.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I would think about it, if walking down the street, if I just happen to look up, like I said, you see that when it comes past you, because you automatically have to look up anyways. You're not supposed to walk with your head down, but a lot of us kind of, when you're thinking or whatnot, and something, when it starts coming in your field of view, it identifies itself, especially whatever's on that arm, on those sleeves.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone going, I mean, and knowing your story, knowing everything you went through and how hard you fought to get it, someone disrespecting you like that.
It's a test. That's not the way we do that kind of thing.
It's a shitty one though.
I've had, yeah. You
think-
can't believe it.
If you had
We're meanest to
responded,
ourselves, huh? What's that?
I was thinking, if you had responded, in the way that you wanted to in that situation, what could that have done for the reputation that you set too? Being above reproach there really makes you stand out. That's just incredible. Can you talk about the being inducted in the U.S. Army Women's Foundation Hall of Fame? What was that like?
Yeah. Well, so there are a lot of really interesting, fantastic people that we, had the opportunity to meet after, graduating from Ranger School, and being a part of that induction ceremony specifically was pretty profound, and being able to be surrounded by a lot of women who were historical contributors to the reason why I even got the opportunity to go in the first place. So, these women who are part of that memorial, like stretched through the generations, whoever could be there were present. And that was just, emotional is like not even the right word. It's just like, it was inspirational. It was so inspirational to be, in part of that environment. And then it also had like this flip side. It's like, I had an opportunity, and I'm so grateful I had that opportunity, but like, I still have so much time to like screw this up, right? I have so much, I have so much more left in my career that I need to be doing and to be working towards. And there's so much more to do. So it was inspiring to be around these women. It was impressive to be acknowledged for the accomplishment, but it was also a very humbling experience to know that like, I'm going to have to continue, and I choose to continue to walk in that responsibility and the weight of bearing this thing that I've earned for the duration of my life, my career in the military, out of the military, forever. There's a very interesting heaviness to that. And like, you could let it weigh you down in a negative way, or you can let it inspire you and propel you forward in this sense of responsibility and ownership. And that's kind of the approach that I've taken, because it's extremely humbling to having had that opportunity. It's like, what are you gonna do with it? That can't possibly be the last good thing that I do in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you see yourself as like a full career Army? Or do you think you'll get out in a few
Great
years?
question. I don't know. I'm at the 10-year mark in the Army. That's a traditional time frame for people. Yeah, to get out. I want to keep contributing. This is a weird thing. I don't know. Could I go 20 years and feel fulfilled and successful and contribute and make a difference? Absolutely. But is that maximizing like my potential? Am I helping? Am I fitting exactly where I'm supposed to be making the biggest difference? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like yet.
How long did your dad do?
He did 24 years. Yeah.
The minute you step out into this world, it's gonna be 100 miles an hour for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy, but it's kind of hard. Just like that. Yeah. The minute you step out of that uniform, pass it over. Yeah. And the fact that there's 100 of you, y'all don't understand how dangerous they are.
I didn't realize that.
Because you get overlooked. Like, and the guys are the worst about doing that because you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you have those skills, that's what you got to understand. Is like that's a school you go to get qualification to go back to do something. But you can go if you have to. If you get called back up, the fact that there's 100 of y'all.
Yeah.
That's really dangerous.
It's awesome.
It's all. That's awesome.
Love it.
It is, and you got to think about this too. The first ones to go through always take the heat. Mm-hmm. So anybody talking all that smack and all that, man, you're taking that for the ones coming behind you. And Rangers lead the damn way. Y'all
That's
tell
right.
me that every time I run into you. Okay, so when if you're leading the way, that you're going to take the biggest hits. That's what we do here. You
That's
led
right.
the charge on something that probably no one wanted.
Yeah.
I'm just being real because that's a guy thing. It's a bravado, and it's. But if you want to earn your respect around us, you better bust your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear you bitching, complaining. I don't want to bend. I mean, you get in there and take it, and you're going to take the heat of the verbal too. That's part of it because we have to. It's actually love, hardcore guy. You know, it's just like, man, why? And you can't appreciate it till you get out. They won't step off you until you get out, and then everything changes. Because right now you're still part of the deal. You can't even see it. And I tell people, man, for every 10 you're in, it takes 2 to detox when you come back out to this side.
That's a good point.
It really does. It really does. And just because of how we're engineered and how we're geared in our generation and what happened to us after those 2 wars and what we turned into, especially the SF programs. I mean, leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. So good on you for that. I'm serious. You're taking all that kind of that heat like that takes a lot more than just the physical part.
So then that, to continue to answer the question, it's like, what does it look like? Well, what do the next 10 years look like in the military? And there's so many different ways, there's so many different avenues, right? And like knowing which one is going to be like, and I know for myself, I continue to pick hard things because that's what people like us, like you've already said that's what we do. So what is that next thing to contribute to do for all the right reasons to continue to lead the way? Because right now, especially even in infantry branch, Kristen and I are the highest ranking females. And so we only have had the jobs that we've had. And there's plenty of women that are coming behind us, which is wonderful. I think last check combat arms numbers, which includes field artillery, infantry, and armor, is somewhere in the 600s. And SF as well. So like that's somewhere in the 600s. Well, that's much more than when we started, which was, not that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, I had something I was going to freaking ask now.
All the questions I had, she answered without me even asking.
Yeah.
How many women have gone through at this point is what I was wondering. And she really talked. I was wondering about the scrutiny of the situation. You kind of.
Oh, yeah, man. You know that.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And it's why everyone sees you taking that. Like if everybody else sees you taking an ass whipping, especially if they knew they were going to have to take it too, it means something. It really does, but it carries a lot of weight. Well, I know what I was going to ask you. What now? Back to med school from where you started?
Well, she doesn't know.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. It's always an option because, I mean, in the military, you can go do anything you want. And because she's already, you don't understand too, a lot of those schools, when you get those, they open up more doors for you that normally wouldn't be there. So if you have that kind of performance already, that medical thing, man, it's up there. It's just a high performance school.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff that I care about in general, optimizing like performance, and specifically, like, I guess my passion, probably not my calling, but my passion is to inspire women to continue to do that. So continue to do hard things, optimize and maximize like yourself, and inspire them to go do these things that they probably don't even realize that they can do because they just don't see other women doing them yet. So I end up talking in mentorship roles, to a lot of different women, especially in like high school and in like ROTC programs across the country, to just share like my experience. Like I really truly believe like our stories are not just for us, like they're for someone else, and like
sure.
the point of them is like, hey, lessons learned. Life in general, we talked about life at the beginning. Life is either full of lessons if you got it wrong, or a blessing if you got it right. And in either one, a lesson or a blessing is something that you should probably share with everyone else around you. But like that comes from my responsibility bone that's deep ingrained in me. So I think my combination of being disciplined and feeling responsibility will continue to drive me to continue to contribute in any kind of matter. And staying in the military is not a bad option. And there are a lot of different avenues and routes I could take. Yeah.
So are your parents just so proud of you?
I think, yes. My mom will be the first one to tell you, but I think that even at this point too, it's like a point of pride for my dad. It's like, yeah.
Oh, he's got the t-shirt that says my daughter's a Ranger.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have gone
be.
all out with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have gone all out with it.
Yeah.
I would just think your parents are just
Wow.
over the moon Just
Yeah.
so
As soon as you
proud
put
of
that
you.
cross around your neck too, you knew it was gonna get hard. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of that's how it is. I mean,
right.
somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
That just like we were sitting in the scene room, he was like, "Why do you do it? Somebody had to."
Yeah.
I mean, just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And people ask me, I was just like, I think I was crazy enough and stupid enough to keep going for sure. And I mean, the podcast says it all, there's not a quitting bone in my body. Like there was
No.
when I showed up, there was no leaving. I was staying until I got drug out of there, or literally like somebody had to tell me like, you cannot continue. It was not going to be me.
Oh well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's having that drive, and then there's where your pedigree. You're not
Yeah.
coming out of West Point and all that, and going through all that, and not going through there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are hardcore pillars. Like and people, yeah, they push you, but they're also something to lean against too. Because I mean, once you've gone through them, it's like, hey, look, man, I've gone through this part of it. Not only do they expect it, I'll be like, I have to. There's just no way around it. We don't think anyway. Yeah. After a while, you can't think of any way other than doing it like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are very proud of you.
Yeah. I'd ask you how people can follow you and keep telling, but if you're active, then
you're not on
that's-
social media. What can we do to help you?
I mean, to be honest, I think that like even like what I mentioned there at the end, it's like, other women who are like, women need to know the warrior culture is not just for men, and women who feel something inside of them that they want to aggressively pursue. Like they think that they can be more, do more. Like the military is not a bad option for going and trying that out. You also don't have to stay there forever. I think a lot of women are like, oh man, like, do I have to get stuck? Like there are options, 2, 3, 4 years and 20 for retirement. But the point is you're going to go do and learn skills and push yourself beyond any limit that you ever thought you could, by giving it a try. And so I think that just continuing to reach out to that population, we need women. We need more women like people like me with the stubborn, go like the hard route possible to fill these roles, because we need men and women. We can't even meet our recruiting and retention numbers in the Navy, Army, or the Air Force right now. It's a military problem.
Yeah.
So making sure that everybody knows that they're needed is really important. That's how you could help me. It's like to actually advocate and like reach out to those environments, inspire women to do this.
Do you
to be
encourage
hard, to be warriors.
Kids to go into JROTC?
Would I encourage them to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be exposed to it, because like there's, I think that everybody who's served in the military can make that, like they have had a good or bad experience, doesn't matter. Like there is no better leadership and personal development training program in the world than a service-oriented job and profession.
Yeah.
So even just going and training in JROTC or going into an ROTC program in college and learning about leader development, your personal development, even if you don't choose to go into the military, you're changed because of that. You're going to contribute in your job in a way that people don't think about, and that we honestly, our society desperately needs in a place where people are very self-protective and self-preserving. We need more people thinking about outwardly, what are you doing to take care of each other?
For sure. I can't wait to see what your future holds, and I hope the best for you. So thank you for coming on. We're really proud of you.
Thank you for your perseverance and your life. Thanks for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a file on you now, right? So keep living it. It was an honor to have you on here.
Tell your parents, good job.
Tell them,
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell
No, and
everybody
I
at the beginning we said
appreciate
what's
and
up.
you guys taking the time and just your mission of perpetuate, telling people hard, stories of people to keep people going through hard things. Like you can't get the lesson and you can't get, the reward on the backside if you don't actually persist through something.
Right.
And so just by the nature of you guys putting out there that there's more that you don't, heroes come in the most unlikely, boxes of surprise, and they're all around us and everybody has a story. So you guys amplifying that is impressive. It's good. It needs to be perpetuated.
Awesome.
Well, thank you much.
Well, keep doing good things.
All right, so
God
take
bless.
care of you.
Thanks,
God bless
y'all.
you. Take care.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that was cool, man. Hey, thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Maybe
Recording
Addie will be
stopped.
our future ranger
Wonder
one
Woman.
day.
Yeah.
Learn something new by then.
Yeah,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Space Force.
Of that thing.
Yeah, that'd be a whole
Space Force?
new. Yeah,
Right.
Space Force.
Yeah, maybe she'll be in space. We don't know.
Dude, look how far we've come since it started with us, right? They're already on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What's that been? 10, 15 years, I guess?
Yeah, since it
You
came
imagine
out.
how far we'll be in 10, 15 more?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I remember it was like 97 that they sent the National Geographic that had
Yeah.
the 3D thing from Mars in it.
And I saw a guy flying on a drone.
Yeah.
It was really cool looking. It looked like the bat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Had
yes.
two
I have
four
seen that.
blades on it.
I've
It lifted
seen the
off,
thing like that. Yeah.
And the Iron Man suit.
Yes, that is under.
Those are already online.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I figured when the movie came out, it was
Yeah.
already operational.
Hey, it's on TV. If somebody can see it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
We put you on the spot. Nice work, man.
I did it. She was a very
We gotta get somebody
interesting.
to man the doors with it.
All right.
So, young Mel Brooks comedy.
Oh, I
Like
love it.
space. Okay, stuff like that.
I've seen Spaceballs, yeah.
and that kind of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could integrate into our shorts.
I agree. And I think it's gonna
Because that's what he would do. He would point out
something kind
that
of
needed to be pointed out.
yes,
without-
but in a funny way,
in a
like
funny way without saying it. You know, it's
yeah, like even in Blazing Saddles, like see, it comes
That's what I'm
off.
about.
Yeah,
All
like
that.
yeah,
You have to have that kind of comedy in reality. I think. I mean, you just got to.
yeah, you have to.
Because I think with some people, it's the only way to point out stuff that.
Well, because if they're closed-minded on something, if you make them laugh, they'll realize, well, hold on, maybe I don't have to be so angry when we talk about this
That's a great
subject.
way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way of saying it.
Yeah. Why
Or
so
so
serious?
Why so
serious?
serious?
Yeah.
Fucking jokers are.
Yeah.
They look like that, man.
Yeah.
When
Dude,
they-
there's a guy on TikTok that sounds exactly like him, and he's like, I mean, he's got tats
okay, so I
here.
saw a girl.
He's got a full-on blacked out tat, like from here to here, all on his forehead, and like his whole arms are blacked out, like